What do you want me to say?
You can introduce yourself.
Maybe if you told me what the purpose of this was, I would have something to say. Alright. Oh, that's loud. Okay, how's that? Alright. Before I start, I just want to say that this is a particularly intense experience for me because I got very little sleep last night. I was up at 6 a.m. cleaning toilets with the crew, and right before coming here, I did the heart-to-heart workshop, which if you've been, is a really intense experience, and it kind of destroyed any sort of preconceived idea of what I was going to say here, and I'm still kind of spaced out a bit. I'm tempted to just kind of talk about my relationship with my partner who's over there filming me right now, but I have a feeling that would kind of nauseate all of you. So, but anyway, I think this confusion that I'm feeling and kind of anxiousness is good because that's actually what I'm going to try to talk about. I'm going to talk about my spiritual life from all the way from birth up until this moment in 10 minutes. I will do it. So basically, my parents. It begins with my parents. They were both sort of, typical American middle class, Protestant people, and both of them, being intelligent individuals, they found it very unsatisfactory. They felt that they had just been indoctrinated with this religion where you just go to church and there's no spiritual depth in it at all for them. So they moved on to other things. My mom's quite interested in Hatha yoga and Indian spirituality. My father's he's a bit Buddhist, a bit pagan, a bit occultist. He likes Aleister Crowley a lot, and so I grew up with them, as we all did with our parents, and having to kind of like ride the wave of all the things, all the baggage that they had, and it becomes my own baggage in a way. And it's all of our baggage. It's all of our. Well, maybe it's not. I mean, it might not be any of your baggage. I don't know, but it's mine. And it's my parents. So they were just sort of. Yeah, they were really kind of a bit spiritually confused in spite of the things that they had moved on to, but they didn't want to be aspiritual, obviously, because they still had a spiritual need and they wanted me to be concerned with spirituality. So they educated me in as many different religious traditions as they possibly could in the brief amount of time that they had. And this kind of made me like really interested in spirituality, but also kind of screwed up a little bit with respect to it. And so I went on to study spirituality academically, which further screwed me up a bit, and also made me even more interested in it. And basically what I want to talk about to you here is how it feels for me to live in this kind of spiritual, postmodernist kind of void where I'm, just kind of really like having this sense that there is definitely spiritual authenticity, but not knowing what spirituality is or what authenticity is to begin with. So I'll talk about my course. I studied mysticism and religious experience at University of Kent in Canterbury, which is what brought me to the UK, and I highly recommend it for somebody who's interested in the subject. And I found lots of other people there who were like-minded and interested in this sort of thing and wanting to learn more about it. But it's really, I got the sense that the people were coming there were not necessarily getting what they expected. I felt like, because it was very, very rigorous and very academic, it had to be in order to gain credibility within the academic institutions that we have. And I think some people were going there seeking what they might have gotten from a meditation retreat or some kind of spiritual community, and they came there sort of maybe not entirely knowing it, but and myself included. I came there seeking some kind of spirituality, not really necessarily knowing what I was getting into. I mean, I don't regret doing it. It's really given me a lot of perspective on spirituality. But in a way, it's been a positive and negative thing. I mean, the course was very academic, as I said, and we're sort of left to pursue the experiential side of it on our own. And if you know anything about spirituality, you know that it's damn important to have the experiential side on top of the intellectual side. I think I achieved a good balance of that nonetheless. However, I do now have all this like academic machinery inserted into my brain, which is constantly like analyzing and criticizing and determining underlying causes and material ontological underlying conditions and whatnot. And I can't turn it off all the time. Only maybe when I'm meditating, rarely even then. And as a result, it's just kind of like, I find myself it's a bit alienated from people sometimes, because if you go to a place like this, there's a lot of really good stuff, but there's stuff which kind of bothers me, because I feel like I just want to be really critical of this, but then that makes me angry at myself for wanting to just kind of rain on everybody's parade like that, but I'm dealing with it,